Hello everyone, DA here, and today we are going to be diving into new and evolving ideas. In the goal of using abandoned resources or assets within Warframe, I propose that we turn some caves on the Plains of Eidolon into a raid lair or a raid/dungeon place, with a very powerful boss at the very end. As part of my desire to keep on putting out ideas that will help this community, this is going to be one of it, and I'm sure you guys are going to enjoy it as well. First, we want to look at the lore aspect of it. There are several caves on the Plains of Eidolon, and a lot of them have names attached to them as well. You have the Garethot Lake that also has a cave around it. You have Hex Stiletto, and of course you have all different places like that. Now, with the way we look at these things, considering that we could see a lot of sentient bones in the caves that we already have, it is possible to put a medium-sized or a large-sized Eidolon or a different kind of boss at the very end of that cave. It would fit perfectly into the lore and the evolution of the sentient or enemies in Warframe. The bosses don't have to be a massive boss in order to be difficult or challenging. They can create a massive dome at the very end of these caves and have a massive underground space that will feel a lot like the Lephantis boss room that we fought when we go into the Derelict. Now, if you guys ever played a game like Metroid or play games like Path of Exiles, then you will have a great idea of what I'm talking about. In Path of Exiles, you will have different dungeons that you have to navigate, and you will get to a certain location where, a lot of them sometimes are like mazes, but this one, it will be a little bit more direct, but it will still be very challenging and a little bit difficult. But at the very end, you arrive at this massive boss room, like let's say the boss in Fendrana Drift in Metroid, but you will arrive at this massive boss room, and then this is where the final fight will take place in this raid. And one of the ways that DE can do this as far as listing these items is have the raid listed on either the Konzu mission board or a mission board at the very entrance of the quills. This is a situation that will be quite interesting. The host of this raid will select and start the mission, and other players will be invited when the host is teleported to the plains. This will be a part of the true series of endgame in Warframe. You will enter from Twin Horns Lake, and as soon as everybody enters, the team is going to divide into two. Everybody is going to go to the side of their squads that has already been pre-selected or selected by the squad leaders. The first levels of enemies will be starting from 85 level, so it is not going to be anything below 85. The deeper you go, the harder it becomes, and it scales maybe a little bit exponentially, but not too hard on the steep curves. These enemies cannot just be bullet sponges. Enemy AI tactics has to be changed, and they have to become smarter and work differently the deeper or the longer you go into these dungeons. Levels will increase to a maximum of 500 when it comes to basic enemies. The boss will be a level 700. Along the way, players will fight mini bosses that will also reward them with certain buffs that will last at least about an hour or two or an hour and a half. If your team doesn't finish that raid within that hour and a half of collecting that buff, the buff will wear off, and the final boss now becomes a lot difficult and harder to kill. A lot of the other enemies also become difficult and harder to kill because your buffs have been removed. Some mini bosses that I've mentioned will give you immunity boons, and some of them will give you things like, let's say, 30% damage buff. One squad will be chasing after the damage buff, while the other squad, which is a second squad, they will be chasing after the immunity buff, which will be, let's say, a 30% or 60% immunity. The buffs will work as an aura. Both squads will meet at the entrance of the final boss. This is where DE's boss design will come in. This is a situation where both teams, when they collide, they will share those buffs, those aura buffs with each other, and it makes it quite universal. It could be a Grenier boss at the end, it could be an infested boss or a sentient boss. It could be a mixture of both, maybe a different form of mutation. I don't know how they're going to do that. And it could even be the golden maw from the War Within at the very end, but make it a giant one, a giant centipede golden maw boss. That will be really interesting. We will have to attack it from different angles, develop strategies, and make it a little bit fun and challenging in that way. Now, these are some of my ideas for the caves and citadels and what DE can do with it. Right now, they are unused assets. We only go in there to farm EIDOLON gems, but let me know what you guys think about this down below in the comment section. Thanks for watching this. Hope you find it informative. I'll see you in the next one.